Hi, welcome to VISHNU IS Academy. Today we are going to discuss about the science and technology syllabus and its role played in the prelims and the mains, and which are the topics which are very crucial, what kind of questions they have asked, what is the pulse of the UPSC. So in what are the syllabus, everything we'll be discussing in this video. So science and technology, see where it is. First of all, in the GS paper 1, paper 2, paper 3 or paper 4, it is in the paper 3. Paper 3 we have under the heading technology. So technology, economic development, biodiversity, environment, security and disaster management. This is a topic in your GS paper 3. GS paper 3. Like, see, in that we are only talking about the technology perspective. So how many questions will come in the mains? What kind of syllabus we have? So generally in the GS paper 3, 3 to 4 questions. In the year 2015 they asked 5 questions. So 3 to 4 questions on an average they will ask in GS paper 3. So 30 to 40 marks are important. Whereas in the prelims, 11 to 15 questions on an average, 10 to 15 questions, they play very crucial role in your selection of prelims, for the prelims. So we are going to discuss now the syllabus. You see, science and technology development and their application and their effect in everyday life. Application and effects in everyday life, because most of the questions, if you see in the prelims 2020, there was a question about the applications of AI, artificial intelligence, nanotubes. They have asked applications only, right? Then achievements in Indians in the science and technology, indigenization of technology, development of new technology. Okay, now we will see. I'll write here. You see, mostly the science and technology part is a dynamic part in both paper 1 of your prelims and paper 3 of the mains. So it is a dynamic approach. So for science and technology you need dynamic approach. Okay. It is a dynamic approach, you need it. Right? Now what is the syllabus here? You see, first it is science and technology development. Science and technology development. The recent, what are the day-to-day developments that are taking place? Right, clear? What are the day-to-day developments that are taking place? Science and technology, its development. Right? Like for example, there was a question in the mains. In the mains, there was a question. See here. What do you understand by nanotechnology and how it is helping the health sector? So, it is a science and technology development. Nanotubes, carbon tubes, all of them, they are related with your science and technology, the health sector. How they are going to develop. Like for example, one more question was there regarding the agriculture. How the science interwoven deeply with our lives, which changes in the agriculture. So here, what is the question here? About the agricultural technology. So they are asking about the agricultural technologies. What are agricultural related technologies that has changed the lives of the farmers? Okay, number 1. Then also you see that, so it was the first one, that is science and technology development. Now the second one is about the eminent Indian scientists' contribution. Eminent Indian scientist contribution. Like contribution. See here mainly the mains questions were asked so many times. Like for example, there was a question about the Satyendranath Bose, Professor Satyendranath Bose, about the Bose-Einstein condensation. Okay, it is called BEC. BEC, Einstein condensation. SN. This was one question that was asked last year, that is last before year. Then there was other questions that was asked on MS Swaminathan. So what are the eminent scientist contribution he is asking? MS Swaminathan was asked. Then also your Visvesvaraya. Then he was an engineer, right? So he has constructed this Nagarjuna Sagar dam, where the flood controlling measures that has been taken place. So the Satyendranath Bose contribution, your contribution of your MS Swaminathan, contribution of Visvesvaraya. So all of these eminent scientists contribution towards the science and technology, they have asked. So in the science and technology developments also, in the first topic, in the science and technology development, we will be seeing what are the development that took place in ancient India. Okay, in the ancient India, what was the development that took place in medieval, and what are the recent developments in the modern era. Recent developments. We will be seeing about all these things. Like for example, one more example. Tipu Sultan was using this rockets, right? He was using that rocket. So on what basis, what are the contributions, how he has used, etc. we will be learning in this science and technology development, right? Then the third one, you see, third one we will be learning about, the third thing we will be learning about your indigenization of technology. Right? Here, what are the indigenous technologies that has been developed in defense, in space, in computers, robotics or biotechnology, etc. we are going to learn in this year. So defense, like in the defense, it might be helicopter, it might be missile, or it might be launch vehicle, or it might be satellite, etc. In your this thing, biotechnology, it might be health issue, health related, gene editing, GM mustard, that is indigenously developed, right? So GM mustard is indigenously developed one. So we will be seeing in that here about the indigenization of technology. Then also see these three, what are the first three, they are very, very important from your mains perspective. So each and every time there was a question here, you see, like for example, you see science and technology development, applications and their effects, achievements and awareness. See, I will come to awareness, but indigenization of technology and developing new technology. What are the new technologies that were there? So here question was, you see, like for example, COVID-19 pandemic has caused unprecedented devastation worldwide. However, technological advancement are being availed readily to win over the crisis. Give an account of how technology was sought to aid the management of the pandemic. Right? This is a new type. So this is nothing but your what technologies that has developed already, which has been there, how that played an important role to in this crisis. So availed ready to win this crisis. Right? Clear? Like for example, you can see that sanitizations, masks already, then your drugs which were treated for the coronavirus, oxygens, then also you see. So these are some of the technologies that were there to fight with the COVID-19, in the COVID-19 cases. Now, how is the science intervened in agriculture? Just now I told you science and technology development. Then this was 20. Now, What is India's plan to have its own space station? Science and technology, own space station, right? So how can biotechnology help in the standards of farmers? GM crops, BT brinjal, GM mustard, golden rice, etc. So give an account of growth and development of nuclear science. See, this is where important. Nuclear science question was asked 2 times in your mains, 2019 and 2018 also. So FBR, that fast breeder reactor advantages they have asked. So it was very simple. 2019 the question was asked. Then, how is the government of India protecting the traditional knowledge of medicines? You see, this is your eminent, that is your science and technology, indigenization of technology, right? Then 2018 you see, I told you just now, discuss the work of Bose-Einstein statistics, right? So by Professor Satyendranath Bose, and how it revolutionized the field of physics. That was a question. So what are the contributions of the main eminent professor like Vikram Sarabhai, right? Baba, Atomic Baba, that is Professor Homi Jahangir Baba. Then about your Abdul Kalam also, we can talk about that. So eminent scientists who has contributed in the field of science and technology. Then why there is so much activity in the field of biotechnology in our country? How has these activities benefited the field of biopharma? Okay, with the growing energy needs, should India keep expanding its nuclear energy? See, 2019 there was a question, 2018 there was a question about the nuclear energy, right? Then stem cell therapy, there was a question. Then also you see, India has achieved remarkable success in unmanned space missions, including the Chandrayaan and Mars orbit. So Mars orbit, space question, right? But has not ventured into manned space. So what are the constraints in the mass? So we'll be seeing that Gaganyaan, which will be going into launch into the low Earth orbit, which take our astronauts into the space. So India is going to go for manned mission. So what are the problems that was there? That was asked. Then here you see how the Digital India program helps the farmers. Or Digital India program also, standing position, GPS also they asked. So science and technology will relate with this space. Then this labor also they have asked. So first 3 topics, what was that? First 3, see, science and technology development, achievements of Indian science, indigenization of technology, right? So these are the main 3 important topics in your this thing. Then if I talk the fourth one, see fourth one, you see development in space, comma, IT, comma, computing, nanotechnology, robotics, nanotechnology and robotics. So the development in space, in IT, computing, and nanotechnology and robotics. This part also plays important role in your GS paper 3. In GS paper 3, they play important role. Already we have seen some questions that has been asked regarding the space, regarding your nanotechnology, right? So they can ask you in the prelims also. See, in the prelims, mainly, if I talk about separately about the prelims now the prelims part, they play very important role. Science and technology play very important role in the prelims. Like, for example, there was a question on the space. Okay, there was a question on the space last year also. So in the prelims, it play very crucial role, science and technology, because in your prelims, from the science and technology alone, 11 to 15 questions will come. 15 questions, we can expect this. So last year it was to 11 questions. Before that in 17 it was 15 questions, 9 questions, 10 questions. On an average 10 to 15 questions will come in the science and technology. But here if you see, there was a question on ELISA, Evolved Laser Interferometer. It was a satellite that was launched by the European Space Agency to study the gravitational waves. Right? So this was in the news in the year 2019. So question was asked in the year 2020. So those which are related with astronomy, cosmology and space, they are asking the questions. Right? And also, you know, there is a second part, that is your energy. See, there is a question that I asked in the space also. Space, every time there was a question which has been asked in the prelims. Space. Okay, I will come to this IT, computing, nanotechnology, robotics also. But first, before that, energy. They can ask you in the mains as well as here also, prelims. So in the energy, you see, there was a mains, there was a question 2 times about the nuclear energy. But India, under the Paris Agreement, 33 to 35% they will move towards your renewable form of energy. So in this case, renewable energy plays important role. They can ask you question in renewable energy. Like in the renewable atomic energy, see energy, they can ask you in 2 forms. One is atomic energy. That is your nuclear energy. Second one is about your renewable form of energy. Solar. There was a question on solar. Prelims. They can ask you a question on the mains also. On the renewable. Wind, your OTEC or your biofuels, etc. They can ask you the questions on renewable form of energy also. Right, clear? So this is one. Then you see about the biotechnology. See, biotechnology from last 2 years, it has played very important role. Biotechnology. Like there was a question on RNA interference technology, about 3 parent baby. There was a question, mitochondria. Right? There was a question on this one. There was a question on GM crops, about gene editing, CRISPR-Cas9. Editing was there, gene editing was there. So CRISPR-Cas9 was there. So RNA interference, 3 parent baby, GM crops, gene editing, all of them, their questions has been asked. So biotechnology, basics of biotechnology as well as your current part of the biotechnology plays very crucial role here. So there was a question on the biotechnology. If you see, there was a questions on biotechnology last year. You see, difference between plant and animal cell, pronuclear transfer, that is 3 parent baby, right? So about the vaccines also they asked. So this is about your biotechnology, RNA interference. So there was so many questions that was been asked in here. Now if you see, the health also, about the health also there was a questions, right? About the health also there was a questions, right? About the virus, Zika virus, there was a question, how these are transmitted. So this year 2021, because of 2020 COVID-19 2020 onwards, 2019 onwards, there was news of coronavirus. So in the health sector, I'll tell you what are the important topics about your prelims separately. Now I'm discussing only about the syllabus. Now here they can talk you about the health, then also about the ICT, information, communication, technology and computing. Now look at here. There were so many questions that were asked in your 2020 itself. Like they asked about the public key public key. They can ask you about supercomputers. They asked about Li-Fi technology, right? VLC, this is nothing but VLC technology, right? They asked about your new technologies like your VR, AR. They asked about in 2019 there was a question. So they asked about LTE. They asked about this. So many questions. Supercomputers 2019, fastest supercomputer they have asked. So in computing also, in ICT and computing from the last 4 or 5 years, they are playing very crucial role. Questions are coming from these areas also. Then your new technologies also, whatever the new technologies which come in the news, that also play important role, right? So these are the topics which we are going to deal in this academy. Okay, so here we are going to cover each and every topic from the mains perspective, from the prelims perspective. So we are going to do this in thoroughly around 10 to 15 classes. Okay, that is, in this 10 to 15 classes we are going to cover whole syllabus regarding the health, regarding your nuclear technology, regarding your, from the basics point of view, from the basics. So how this centrifuge or uranium enrichment, we don't want technical things. UPSC will never ask technical things. UPSC will ask from the general perspective. You have to know what is uranium enrichment. We don't want to know how the uranium enrichment process takes place. What is the role played by your heavy water or water? What is the moderator, etc. And how this is going to apply. Like for example, refraction. We might have studied in the 9th class and 10th class about the reflection and refraction. But LiDAR technology, okay, LiDAR, or when we are using this Wi-Fi, optical fiber, we use this, we have studied the laser technology in the 9th class, right? So laser technology, same technology is applied in the optical fibers. But we don't know what is the principle they are working. So new technologies like quantum computing, quantum supremacy, quantum cryptography, all these are new kind of technologies. Right, clear? Supercomputers, Fugaku supercomputer. Regarding the health sector, we'll be studying about the vaccines, we'll be studying about the virus, all the COVID-19 and related viruses, Ebola, how it transfers, Zika, H1N1, bird flu. Then also we'll be studying about space, like space. You see, we'll be studying about different types of orbits, low Earth orbit, medium Earth orbit, high Earth orbit, where the satellites are launched, what types of satellites are there, and what are the recent steps that has been taken by the ISRO or new kind of developments like Aditya L1, Lagrangian points to study about the sun. Okay, the other internationals like NASA, Parker probe, SOHO satellite, etc. So recent steps. See, we are going we have gone to the Mars, we have gone to the moon. Now we are going to drop a rovers here. So we don't want the technology, but we want general perspective, general things. The questions will be very, very general. In the mains, the eminent contributions plus application part, application. Like for example, artificial intelligence, where it is used. Application, how it has revolutionized the computing system or ICT. Or your LiDAR technology or optical fiber, Wi-Fi, Li-Fi. What is the difference? Like for example, in the missile also, DRDO. Like for example, women scientists in DRDO are very less. What are the challenges? Okay, women empowerment in the DRDO, they can talk about. So there might be so many questions related. How this DRDO helps in the societal development. It is related with defense, but how it is related with your societal development. How it has influenced the life of the peoples in our country. Or what is the contribution made by the ISRO? What is the contribution made by CSIR? Council for Scientific Industrial Research. What is the contribution made by the other this thing? So in the DST, that is Department of Space and Technology, okay, we'll be studying about Ministry of Earth Science, how they are contributing toward the science and technology development, right? So here we'll be studying about these things. Then also you see from the prelims, what are the sources, what we have to study, you see. Then you can ask, sir, what are the sources which we have to study it? See, I'll tell you, Sunday newspaper, very very important, that is your Hindu, the Hindu. The Hindu, not only Sunday, but also any article, any newspaper, any article which comes, okay, any article which comes regarding science and technology, that you have to study it first, the Hindu. Second is your PIB, Press Information Bureau. We have to know about ministers like DST, Departments of Science and Technology, Biotechnology, Defense, then also about your Ministry of Earth Science, Biotechnology, etc. Then you have to know, see, sir, basic NCERT. See, basic NCERT you have to read first. These are the basics, because I told you the reflection, refraction, that worked on the Li-Fi, yes or no? So this is a basic thing. So NCERT of 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th biology part, only biology part. Biology part we have to cover. Okay, in our this academy we'll be telling you the basic points from the 8th, 9th, 10th class also, NCERT. We'll be telling the principles. See, for example, if you are using the technology of LiDAR, we'll be telling the principles which are there in the 9th class. Then we have to apply that. So that's why I'm telling you, NCERT 9th, 8th, 9th, 10th are very very important to know. And basic biology part, virus, cell, membrane, nucleus, mitochondria, ribosomes, etc. DNA, RNA, all these things, they are very very important perspective, right? Then we have to refer some website also, like DRDO, ISRO, okay, CDAC, and also your BARC, Baba Atomic Research Center, and etc. I'll tell you when we are dealing with the subject. Okay, this is one. Then apart from this, we have to study about Science Reporter, then Down to the Earth magazine, So these magazines also will be covering in the class. So whatever the important news which are there in the Science Reporter and in your DTE will be covering in the classes here itself. So we'll be dealing elaborately of science and technology here. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel VISHNU IAS Academy for more information.